okay, so the fact that we now have eateries around, we now have a mall, or we have malls, does that mean that we are now developing? What value do these establishments add to the average person living around there? Because there's something that I've seen lots of people. There's a way I've seen lots of people think that I want to just think out loud in this video. So I want to start by saying that I'm not trying to tell anybody how to spend their money. I'm a firm believer in letting people spend their money however they want to spend it, so long as they are doing something legitimate with the money. So I'm not trying to criticize people who do what I'm about to say. I just want to start by saying that. So I've observed, I want to just use my community as an example. Recently, someone came to visit me and saw a couple of new eateries and malls around where I stay, and the person was like, wow, this your area is developing. And that just got me thinking, like, and that's not the first person I was hearing say that. I've heard several people say, this place is developing, this place is opening. And I'm just thinking, I just started thinking out, like, to myself, like, does the fact that a community now has an eatery or a mall or a cinema mean that the place is developing? Because especially when you're talking about an area like where I stay, because for context, I live in Badagry, Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, so like a really outskirt part of town that's quite underdeveloped. And I think about it like, okay, so the fact that we now have eateries around, we now have a mall, or we have malls, one or two malls around. I'm not sure there's a cinema around here yet, none that I know of. Does that mean that we are now developing? So the question I'll ask is, what value do these establishments add to the average person living around there? Because around where I stay, the average person has never entered any of these malls. They are basically trying to survive, trying to find money to eat and survive. So what value do those things add to the average person? Now, I'm not saying they don't add any value. There's value to having malls and eateries in a community. It gives you a place to go and relax, right? I think that's valuable. Having a place to relax is valuable. But if it's somebody that has not eaten to satisfaction that will go and relax, that's a thought in my mind. Who would actually go to this place? And then, okay, another value it creates is that it creates a few jobs, right? So the people that work there, the waitress, the cooks, and all of that, it creates some jobs. But then, the more I think about it, the more I feel like we will be better served. The more I feel like, first of all, when we see these things, we shouldn't just say that the area is developing. Those things are not development now, because they don't really add much value to the common man that stays around there. They don't. If you read through the history of development in almost everywhere, the thing that brings development most times in communities, in places, and even on a large scale to countries, is the ability to produce something. If you can, it's just the same thing. It's the same thing that happens in microeconomics, that happens in macroeconomics. How do people get rich as human beings? Is you have something of value to give to people, and then people bring their money to you. So for a community to get rich is that they are creating something of value and giving to others, and then the community begins to become rich. So how can that happen on a larger scale in the community? It happens when the community is known for producing something, and the community produces that thing well, and then other people begin to patronize that community. So if, for instance, there is a manufacturing plant around here, manufacturing of anything, it doesn't have to be of anything at all, that will create more jobs for people. And then manufacturing is not the end of the value chain. After manufacturing, the wholesalers come and buy from that place, right? After wholesalers buy, it creates a value chain further down for the retailers. So I feel like for you to look at the community and say, this place is developing, you shouldn't be looking at how many eateries or new big hotels or malls or cinemas the community has. It's what are the things that are providing value in the community to the people that are being created. Now, if you notice, I started my video by saying that I'm not telling anybody how to spend their money. So the people who have established these businesses, these eateries and the rest, I have nothing against them, because it's their money. It's a legal business and they chose to invest in that business, which isn't bad. But I'm just thinking out loud, right? I'm just thinking out loud. Because at the end of the day, who do these businesses become for? Let's think about it for a moment. If you are living in a community where people are doing well and their standard of living is higher, and you open a mall in such a community, you don't really have to bother too much about attracting customers, because people will have enough money to come and patronize you. But as someone who lives on ground where I stay, how many people in my area here have the money to say they want to go to a mall to go and buy something, or go to an eatery where a plate of food is, let's say, 2,000 naira, or let's even say 2,000 naira a plate of food, which isn't unreasonably expensive for an eatery. But I'm just saying, it is very, very cheap. I think that's like the cheapest amount you would. I don't even know if there are some. I don't even know, because I don't really go to eateries. Because I don't go to eateries, so I don't know if there's even still 2,000 naira plate of food. So please don't laugh at me if this price I'm saying doesn't make any sense. But how many people in this community I stay have 2,000 naira to spare on the plate of food? And if you're going to eatery, you're not going alone. Probably go with somebody. How many people? And if they have, maybe it's just Christmas time. So I think, I guess the point of this post, I'm trying to think what's the point of this post. I'm just thinking out loud, as I said before, is first of all, I think the way we define development has to change. As Nigerians, we are so used to consumerism, consuming and consuming and consuming. We have to begin to think about producing things. We have to begin to think about producing. We have to begin to think about producing. You can't have houses that are not painted, dilapidated buildings around, little hot houses around, and then there's one big mall. And then you say the area is developing. Developing in what way now? Are you not seeing the people that are living around? Is it the mall that is telling that the area is developed? So we have to begin to think, and I would say that I'm also speaking to the future millionaires and billionaires that are watching this, like myself included, that when we begin to make our money, I think we need to really think about the things we invest in. Not because we will not make money. I'm not saying that those malls are not making their money. I don't know. Probably they are. Maybe they are. The malls are making their money. The cinemas are making their money. But we have to begin to think in value. In terms of value. And value for posterity. Like value after you're gone. I feel like looking at how many people can this create jobs for? That has to be a way we think. I think that's one of the thoughts that always comes to my mind whenever I'm thinking of an idea. Is how many people can these things affect their lives? How many people can we create jobs for with this? Okay, so what kind of value chain does this thing create? The value chain means that even if I cannot employ everybody in the community, my business can also create value for other people to have a business to make money from. I don't know if I hope I didn't overcomplicate that explanation. So we need to begin to think in terms of things that create value beyond, just this surface level. So just a thought, though. Just a thought. I would like to hear what you think in the comment section below. Does having malls and cinemas in the community mean that the place is developing? Am I blowing it out of proportion? I just want to hear your take on it. And if you've watched the video to this point, I just want to ask that you please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. I'll be dropping commentary videos like this and those videos of me ranting and thinking out loud, regularly. So you can subscribe and you can check out some of our other videos. Like the video, drop a comment. It really does a lot for the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.